And we're back for another episode of the Tech Behind FinTech. Always happy to be back on another episode, another week. Today, we're going to be covering the news of 7/16 Friday. My name is Nnamdi Osuagwu, the host of the Tech Behind FinTech. Happy Friday, and hope everyone is doing well. So let's see who we have online. I don't see anyone as of yet. But definitely to all my people, my regulars that join, please give a shout out on the comment side so I know I'm not alone. Listen, what's going on? So exciting stuff. Today we're going to go over some open banking reforms in the US. We're going to talk about Square and their new decentralized finance effort. And then we're just going to give an overview of DeFi. I had a really, really good conversation with some folks this week, and we got into some DeFi conversation. So just want to kind of give an overview of it. I'm not sure everybody might be aware of those terms, and also talk about some terms high level. And in the future, we'll definitely get a guest on and dive into some of these topics. I mean, I know last week we started the conversations on the decentralized autonomous a DAO. And it was a law passed in Wyoming, and we covered that last week. So you can tune into last week's episode where we got into the decentralized organizations. Yeah, so pretty much where we stand. So let me just click on. Oh, and it was crazy. Last week we had an issue with our PowerPoint because when we do the solo shows, as I talk, it's good to have some visuals, but that's been resolved now with our streaming provider, so we know what went wrong, and hopefully today it will be more seamless. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, let's jump into the first article of the day. Okay, cool. Yep. All right. So, White House backs U.S. open banking reform. What is open banking? What's this all about? So, a few months ago, I'm not sure if you remember, but we talked about open banking in a sense that it was launched as a directive in the UK, and essentially mandates the big banks to open up their APIs. This way, customers can control more of their data. That also spawned a lot of fintechs leveraging that for innovative purposes. So and also with all of these topics we discuss, I'll put in links to the references afterwards. So that went on in the UK, a directive in January 13th, 2018. And it basically forces the banks to release their data in a secure, standardized form so that it can be shared more easily between authorized organizations. So that happened in the UK. And it also, they call it open banking in the UK because it's mandated to be in a standard form. Another term within the European legislation is Payment Services Directive, otherwise known as PSD2. Why am I bringing the UK and that stuff up? Is because that was taking place years ago, a couple of years ago. And now recently, the White House backs U.S. open banking reform. It released its pressing to the Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, the CFPB, to execute rulemaking that would give banking customers the right to port their data from one bank to another. So, in looking at like when how do they port data? They use, an application programming interface. Obviously, it has to be secure, and that's a whole litany of penetration testing and vulnerability testing just to make sure your APIs are secure. Just on a security standpoint, on an application security standpoint, APIs are definitely an attack surface that nefarious actors have taken advantage of. So doing the necessary testing on the API to make sure you understand the data you're exposing, and also just going through the necessary vulnerability tests, extremely important. So, definitely think that's a great direction. I think it, and part of the article that we posted here, one of the reasons it's spawning innovation, right? So that's what they're looking for from from the White House. It's a whole bunch of things that they're looking to do to promote more innovation. So this should be interesting, but we are definitely behind in terms of that in the US because this has been a directive in the UK. So it looks like everyone's going to pretty much, all the majors are forming in that direction with open banking reform. Um, so that is definitely interesting how that will turn out. I don't know. I didn't see a clear date. It's just basically backing from the White House. It backs open banking reform, and they're going to leverage the CFPB to execute rulemaking. So I don't know an exact date. In the UK, they had an exact date when it was launched. So I think this is still in the preliminary phases, but definitely interesting. Okay, let's see what else we have to talk about today. Maybe a straightforward show. The biggest things was that I don't know, I found interesting this week. I mean, there's plenty of things happening. Obviously, we're not covering the entire news, but the things I found interesting this week was open banking and decentralized finance. And let's get into the decentralized finance conversation. Matter of fact, let's test to make sure. Oh, there's a couple of things we need to do. One, on a background standpoint, have to put our cooler background. Boom. That makes things a little bit smoother. Then go back to the comments. So let's see, do I have any comments about open banking? Be great to have some discussions around that. Definitely have to. It's really interesting. So, from a guest perspective, some of these articles that I'm touching base on, it's definitely going to spark for a good conversation. So, I need to reach out to some people and bring them on because we're really like been for the few past few weeks, been bringing up some really interesting topics and really just like scratching the surface. So, it would be really great moving forward to really dive in. Summertimes are a bit slow. Everybody's on vacation and stuff, but hopefully we can get some people in the next few and start diving deeper into these topics that we've been discussing. Before I forget, as I promised, what I'm going to start doing now, as we touch base on these topics, I will give you links so you can follow up if you want some more information. I'll give you some reference links. So I'm going to post that right now. Yep, great. And all the platforms that we are streaming on should receive those links. And the platforms include Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so forth. I don't know what happened on LinkedIn, but I'm not seeing that our comment made it to LinkedIn, which is pretty strange. That's strange. But the show must go on. Okay. What is the next topic? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is going to get us into our DeFi conversation. So the next topic, Square CEO Jack Dorsey, I like Jack, has revealed that Square is building a new division that will focus on building decentralized finance services that utilize the Bitcoin network. Uh, some opinions on that, but let's just get into the news thing. So Dorsey made the announcement via Twitter earlier Friday and revealed that Square's new division will be building an open developer platform with the sole goal of making it easy to create non-custodial, permissionless, and decentralized financial services. Our primary focus is Bitcoin. So find that very interesting for a few reasons. Number one, you talk about DeFi, majority of the applications are like really built on Ethereum because they have the smart contract enabled. So going in the Bitcoin direction, I found interesting that that would be the direction they're going towards, where like I said, most of the DeFi projects are in Ethereum. And another thing I found out was an interesting stat that I wanted to bring about. it was something that I found that I was interested in sharing. It was like I think there's a Bitcoin project, but it's like 103. But I want to confirm that before I talk about that, because essentially in the article that I was reading about, like, yeah, like I said, the Bitcoin network um currently does not have smart contract capability, which makes it difficult to compete with Ethereum-based DeFi and its interoperable, they call it money Legos, decentralized finance. Decentralized finance on Bitcoin relies on additional infrastructure such as bridges, side chains to initiate smart contracts. So I found that like totally interesting, and it's something that I missed. In which I just found I dived into this article, there's something called Taproot upgrade that's going to be taking place on the Bitcoin network by the end of the year. It's proposed, and I'll put the article. So it's going to introduce a lot of security upgrades and so forth, but supposedly it's going to also introduce smart contracts to the Bitcoin network. So that was like a mind blowing revelation. But an article that I found is previously reported by Cointelegraph. Bitcoin's Taproot upgrade achieved 90% critical consensus among mining nodes on June 12th. So basically, Bitcoin is obviously decentralized, so you have a lot of the miners, and essentially saying consensus, those miners on the network all voted for the upgrade. So 90% obviously is pretty much like a majority. So it should be coming to fruition by the end of the year, which will enable smart contract. Obviously, I would assume Square is fully aware of that, and maybe that's part of the decision to go with Bitcoin for their DeFi project. And their DeFi project is called EBD. So that's what it's kind of a funny name, right? To be determined, but that's the name of the project. So that's going to launch on Square. So listen, we're talking about DeFi and different things that Square is doing, but what exactly is DeFi, right? And let's just kind of get into that topic in terms of what DeFi is, and I posted it here so it can be on the screen. Basically, it's a system in which financial products become available on a public, decentralized blockchain network, making them open to anyone to use rather than going through middlemen like banks. So the whole point is it's decentralized, right? So, you go to your bank right now, your bank is central. It's controlled by an entity, or in some situations, it's central control. Decentralized finance, the whole idea is it's not controlled by any particular entity. A lot of it is based on technology, and a term we call smart contracts, which basically are like computer programs and deployed on the blockchain that act autonomously. So once you have the logic placed in, it basically functions and just proceeds as the code is intended to proceed. And they have a whole concept called code is law. So that's the general idea of decentralized finance. I know we're throwing the term out, so I just wanted to make sure that it's we can give an overview. And like I said, in future episodes, these are definitely topics we're going to dive further into. So, and there's some components of DeFi, stable coins. So, right now we all see the volatility in Ethereum or Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin a few months ago was 65,000. It dropped now. So I think the latest price is around 32,000. Last year was even lower, then it jumped up, extremely volatile. So if you're going to build decentralized platforms, and also Ethereum, right? Last year it was in the hundreds, right? Then it hit 4,000. Now it's back down to like 1,800 today. So usually with these decentralized finance applications, it's based on something they call stable coins. The stable coin can either be tied to an actual asset like a fiat currency like US, or it can be an electronic algorithm, but still stable, meaning it maybe it's going to still reflect something like USD. Let me see if we have any comments from our audience. Talking a lot. Usually I try to like see if we have a comment and so forth. Oh, we do have a comment. I think I may have we added in LinkedIn user. Oh, friend of the show, Dina. Thank you for tuning in as always. Always appreciate your tuning in. I keep thinking about the Hawala system as a natural experiment akin to DeFi. Why does that sound familiar? You're gonna have me want to Google stuff like right on the show. Not as hold on. Why does that sound familiar? What am I forgetting? Hmm, interesting. Well, listen, what we're gonna do is we're gonna touch base on some DeFi terms to help with the understanding. And like I said, this is going to be a high level overview today in terms of. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks for the comment, Medina. Always appreciate the comments that you post, and also thank you for tuning into the show. Definitely appreciate it. So let's just go over, because this is it's a wide topic. Oh, yes. That's where, okay. Thanks for posting it. Yes, that's why Middle Eastern banking system. Definitely. I do remember that. Thank you. Thank you for that. And because I was reading it like some months ago, and one of the it was an interesting use case when I was reading it, and something someone said is like when you look to start fintechs in various places, you basically have to adapt to their customs and so forth. And yes, I definitely remember. That's why it sounded so familiar. Thank you for that. Thanks for clarifying that for the audience and for myself. But yes, I can totally see how that the relationship that you're making towards that system and decentralized finance. And thanks for pointing that out. Really appreciate it. So listen, let's jump into some terms. So, a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. So we talked about that. We talked about this, I think, at length last week, because what Wyoming passed, making it legal to start a DAO. I think that was a part of the conversation. If you want more information, you can definitely tune back into our episode last week. You can go to our YouTube channel. And if you do see our YouTube channel, really helpful if you subscribe. But yeah, so we went into that, but I'll just give an overview. Basically, it doesn't have any human managers or staff. Everything happens in an organization. It's automated on an open source computer programming code that can be viewed and used by anyone. So if if you're used to everybody, we might have, you might have an employer right now running central organizations, and wrapping your head around a totally autonomous decentralized organization is difficult. At least for me it was too. I mean, because we're not even, the whole concept is like, so how does it work? And that is a show that I definitely want to dive further into in the future. But essentially, that's the whole point, right? It doesn't it's not centralized. It's computer based, and it's a fully functional organization. It's run on the blockchain, just like DeFi. DAO is also immutable and censorship resistant. So very interesting. Like I said, we're just going to go over some terms right now that's used within DeFi. DApp stands for decentralized application. Is the foundation of everything DeFi. It's like the DAO. A DApp is an application that runs essentially by itself with no managers or middlemen, allowing users to transfer funds between themselves. The Ethereum blockchain is like a library of dApps on which the majority of DeFi dApps exist. Other blockchains such as Tron and EOS also allow developers to code applications. Uh, Another term that's going to be used a lot as you start drilling into DeFi is, oh, and let me interrupt myself as I'm promising you to be to post links. So the square the square link, I want to post that. The square link and the Taproot upgrade. Let me post that right now. That's the Taproot upgrade. Oh, let me do that separately because I think they don't like when I post it together. Posting that because I talked about it, and I just want to make sure we all have it. And then I'll go back into the terms afterwards. All right, here's the Taproot upgrade. All right, so those are links for the Taproot upgrade. Now let's circle back to our terms. So decentralized exchange. So you're kind of getting the the direction we're going. Everything is decentralized, and so the things that you have in the real world, outside, like we call like an organization, you could have a decentralized autonomous organization, an exchange, like you could have a decentralized exchange where you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies on. So there's two types of exchanges if you look at it, right? Well, in the crypto world, obviously you have the stock exchange and everything like that. But in the crypto world, you have a decentralized exchange and then you have a central exchange. So if you look at a central exchange, you have, Coinbase, Binance, Bittrex, Kraken, different things of that nature. If you look at a decentralized exchange, some include Uniswap and Kyber. So that's so they say one of the things they say also, central exchanges can be cheaper than decentralized exchanges, but users don't get any say in how they are run as they do with some decentralized exchanges. So find that interesting. Next, Ethereum. So Ethereum, I mean, some of us look at the crypto currencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Cardano, things like that. But Ethereum also is a platform that a lot of these tech like decentralized apps and dApps are built on top of. So it's very interesting. So so let's kind of like peel that away. Ethereum was the first platform to enable smart contracts. So Bitcoin came out first, but they didn't. It was just the crypto aspect. But the Ethereum gave you the ability to launch, smart contracts, dApps. And really, if you look at the decentralized market, most of the applications or the top are Ethereum based because you can basically build on top of that platform. Another thing, right? When you start looking at tokens, so it's something called the ERC20 token. It's basically a standard that you can now build your own token on top of. So a lot of these coins are built on using the ERC20 standard. It's like a smart contract, and then you build your token on top of that. So it's different. Now you have Ether, which is an actual real cryptocurrency, but you have other tokens for that firms use that as a standard to build their own. Some have value and some have absolutely no value. So and I'll post some links so you can like dive further if you're interested in. But just kind of want to give some background on that. Some next terms that you would see in the DeFi world are total value lock. That's a big term that they use a lot, and that represents a number of assets that are currently being staked in a specific protocol. This value is not meant to represent the number of outstanding loans, but rather the total amount of underlying supply that is being secured. So it in all of the DeFi contracts, so I said they're based on smart contracts. From a market perspective, as of March 2021, it's 41 billion total value locked in. So that's the actual assets being staked behind these contracts from an overall perspective. So that's another term that you would use. We talked about smart contracts already, stable coins. I think we touched based on that. Like I said previously, using like if you're gonna if you have a DeFi project, right? Because the other coins like Bitcoin, different. It's just volatile. You want something that is basically stable. Like we know certain fiat currency. When I say fiat, like an actual like currency from a country, right? So that's like more fiat, like the dollar or the euro or the pound, right? So stable coins, central pillar of DeFi is a stable coin, which is a token that reflects I'm just reading the definition, but basically what I'm saying, it represents a fiat or traditional currency. There are two types: an algorithmic stable coin, which doesn't need to be backed or collateralized by traditional fiat currency. So it's an example called the DAI, DAI, and you have others that are centralized stable coins like USDC for Tether. USDC, well, Tether is USDT, and then there's a USDC, and they are more centralized stable coins. And I distinctly remember a few weeks ago we actually talked about some stable coins. We went into actually Tether and the USDC and what they were doing with that project. It was a combination of Coinbase project. So, I mean, essentially, that is what I wanted to cover today. Oh, as I promised, let me shoot out some of these links to you guys. Let me put out some of these reference articles. Really good information. You know, I know people that are not in this world and not as familiar, but it's I think it's definitely where the future of a lot of finance and banking's going. So it's good to be aware. A lot of countries are already on it, Argentina and so forth. Oh, yeah. If you want to learn more about the DeFi market, let me put together this. Oh, this was a really good this is a good slide to kind of bring it home. It's more so me pop it up. Wait, before I do that, let me make sure that I give you all the links that I promised you guys. Okay, I think that's it for right now. And I'll post some more, but this is a really good chart that I found. So they look at like the DeFi and traditional finance. And I like the way they broke this down. So in DeFi, you hold your money. Traditional finance, your money is held by companies. You control where your money goes and how it's spent. In DeFi versus traditional, you have to trust companies not to mismanage your money, like lend it to risky borrowers. But you're still somewhat backed though. So this could be a little bit biased towards deep, but whatever. I like the way they listed it. DeFi transfer of funds happens in minutes. Payments can take days due to manual process, which is true. Transaction activity is pseudonymous. Financial activity is tightly coupled with your identity. DeFi is open to anyone. Traditional finance, you must apply to financial services. DeFi markets are definitely always open. It's 24/7. Markets close. Um, we know market close and open, and we look at it globally. DeFi, it's built on transparency. Anyone can look at products and data and inspect how the system works. Financial institution are closed books, and so forth. I really like the comparison, and it's a way to bring it home. So I wanted to make sure we captured it on the screen so you can like look at this video. And I will send you the actual links for that. I think I might have posted it already, actually. Okay, what's the next slide? Oh, cool. This is really cool. So there's a couple of resources, DeFi Pulse and DeFi Llama, and it's just basically giving you an idea of the market and showing you the products, their TVL, which we discuss in terms of terms. So let me post that for you guys. This is new to you. I mean, you could definitely go down the rabbit hole, but it's good information. I find it fascinating. And it's definitely in line with some of the projects that I'm working on from a security standpoint and with the cloud, with the CSA and smart contract security and things of that nature. So it's definitely interesting stuff. Um, okay, I posted the DeFi Llama. Don't see I don't see my reference to DeFi Pulse, but you could definitely just Google DeFi Pulse and it should pop up. Apologize for that. Yeah, Google DeFi Pulse and it'll pop up. I might not have saved that link. So see if there's any questions. Okay, I don't think there are any questions today. Listen, um, thanks for tuning in. Let me get rid of this. I think that's it for our cool. Thank you for tuning in. That was really our discussion today. I mean, really high level overview on we try to when we talk about these news articles and we want to kind of give some background and give overview on the technology they're talking about. So touch based on the White House is backing open banking, and we touch based on how that initiative already happened in UK in 2018. So we're seeing the US catching up. No specific dates on when they're going to start making it mandatory. We'll keep tabs on that. Then we went into Square's DeFi initiative using Bitcoin. We went into the Bitcoin upgrade expected for this year, which will enable, is expected to enable smart contracts taproot upgrade. And we gave in addition to a lot of other things, that's not the only thing they're doing. A lot of security features and things like that. So you can definitely take a look at it. Oh, I love it. But I got a comment from the audience. Dean again, PowerPoint's on point. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was like, so we figured it out essentially. I don't want to plug any particular vendor, but essentially when we were using it just regularly on prem, it wasn't working. You had to use an online PowerPoint for this particular platform that I use, StreamYard. So now it works seamless. Last week was like a little disaster. I was happy we got past that. Thank you very much for that compliment, Medina. Appreciate it. So, and then we touched on DeFi. We went through the overall overview of what DeFi is. We talked about some terms and we talked about some resources in DeFi Llama and DeFi Pulse. We can see projects that are going on. So, all interesting stuff. Hit our 30-minute mark. Look, as always, thank you for tuning in. It definitely appreciate it. And if you're watching this months from now, thank you for watching. Appreciate you. And as always, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. If you're on those platforms, please subscribe. You should see the different links so you can keep abreast on what we're doing and when we go live. To all, it's Friday. Have a happy Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and take care. I'm out. Cheers.